Well, welcome. So you're all going into Ed 3 and you're all PJI, right? I'm just going to go briefly run through the practicum requirements so that you haven't forgotten what you have to do for next year. Your Ed 3 practicum looks exactly the same as your Ed 2. You will attend your practicum school 1 day per week throughout the academic year. So you will start in September. While classes are on, you go to your practicum. When classes end, you end your practicum as well. So for the entire year, 1 day per week during classes at the university. At the end of the year, you have a 4-week consecutive day block. And that means it is for 20 days consecutively. We can't break it up into 1 week or 2 weeks. You have to make sure that you have those available days. When do you start your practicum? Generally, for most of you, it will be May, because once you finish your classes, then your exams start. Some of you may not have many exams, and in some cases, some students don't. So you can begin your practicum earlier than in May. But in most general cases, students need to finish their assignments and their exams and then be ready to start their practicum. So in terms of your program ending, you can say it's usually the end of May. The consecutive days, we will allow 1 day missed if, say, some of you only have 1 exam in April. You can start in April and take the 1 day off for the exam, but then you have to add on that day that you missed onto your block. Okay? So having said that, the fact that your program runs into May, that means you can't enroll in summer classes for the May term. You can't accept a job in May. You can't go on a vacation until you finish your block. So just remember that, because sometimes students say, oh, well, I had booked this 6 months ago, now I lose my money. So you know up front that consider your program to end at the end of May. The teaching day, again, is still only Wednesday or Thursday that you select. Whatever day works out best for your schedule. And you don't have to report that day to us. You only have to advise your practicum facilitator on the day that you meet with them, which is usually before classes start, during the orientation session. So how many of you have already selected your zones for your practicum? So half of you have and half of you haven't. So you know that the window is open. It's been open for a week. It will close at the end of February. So February 26th, the window closed. So the most important thing now you have to do is go in and select your zones. If you don't provide us with a practicum request, we won't be pursuing a placement for you. So very important. And we don't know you're returning unless you've asked us to place you. So how do you log into PIMS? I'm just going to run this briefly through you. I'm sure you all know. You log into PIMS with your passport, your credentials. You should all have a window that says placement request preferences. And here's the window. It looks slightly different than last year because we're going to ask you to give us authorization to enroll you in the practicum course. Previously, we gave you a hard copy that you had to sign and submit to us. Without you authorizing us to enroll you in the prac course, we cannot do that. And you also have to check that you are aware that you must have a valid criminal record check before you start your practicum. School boards will not allow any students in a classroom without it. We don't call the rules, it's the board. So if you can't provide it, you will miss your practicum days at the beginning of the year. So make sure you have your criminal record check with a date of no later than July 1st. In most cases, you should be able to receive your record check within 2 to 4 weeks. That's the most. Unless there's fingerprinting issues, and that will take a longer time. You know who you are. So whoever had to do fingerprinting before may have to do it again this year. Okay, so given the fact that you've told us the zones that you want, our priority now in your Ed 3 is to place you in your curriculum that you did not complete. So if you did your practicum in a primary, we have to provide you with a junior placement. So that's our first and most important priority. We will then look at the schools in that zone and ask them to take you in that first zone. And I'm going to be honest, junior placements are very difficult because there's the overlap. There's the primary junior and the junior intermediate that both need juniors. There's fewer classrooms that take teacher candidates. So in some cases, we do have to go to your second and your third choice. You may have had a great placement, very close to home this year. it's not necessarily the case for your Ed 3 year, because we do need to find you the appropriate placement. So expect to travel. If you're by TTC, I think 60 minutes to 90 is not unusual, but within 60 minutes, usually most of our schools should be accessible. We still use all our partnered schools. It's not like you can say, I would like to be placed at that school. Can I go? If it's a partnered school of ours, you can request that if you would like it. You can email the Practicum office, and if it's a possibility, we will consider it. And once we've confirmed a placement with a school and a mentor teacher that has committed the year to us, we will not remove students from there. It's just unprofessional on our part. They have committed to our program, are expecting teacher candidates, and we can't just remove them because a student perhaps can't drive, you know, extra 10, 15 minutes. So be prepared, you know, for traveling. If you're public transit, like I said, 90 minutes. It takes me 90 minutes to get to work, and I live quite close. Be professional. You all know about it. You've been in the classroom for a full year. You know what professionalism is. You dress professional. What does that mean? See what the teachers are wearing and follow that dress code. It's usually business casual. In your case, you may want to be even more professional than what the teachers look like. Attendance. You must attend every day of your practicum. Any days that you miss will need to be made up. If you have to miss a day, it's usually because of illness. You must email your mentor teacher and your facilitator early in the morning so everybody's aware that you will not be there. That day will need to be made up. So at one point, you're going to add on that day to one of your weekly schedules that you can attend, or at the end of your block. So all missed days will need to be made up, with the exception of any religious holidays or statutory holidays. I don't think there's any stat holidays on a Wednesday or a Thursday, but there may be religious holidays. You still need to notify all parties concerned that you will not attend, but you do not need to make that day up. Engage in the classroom when you're sitting and observing. That's where most of your learning is done. Cell phones must be off at all times. You can only look at them when you're on break or in the staff room or at recess. Social media, I think you should all be aware by now, your social media. Be aware of what you may or may not post. Keep your Facebook pages private. You shouldn't be accessible by students or by perhaps potential employers. Just be aware of that. Punctuality, you should attend your practicum earlier than before the bell starts. We usually recommend about 20 to 30 minutes, and also to stay in after the bell rings. Or to be involved in after-school programs, which may be sports activities, curriculum night, interviews. This is all a learning experience that you have the opportunity to witness before you're actually doing this on your own. So if you do have classes that may start later, you can enroll in evening classes when you have a practicum, but you wouldn't want to miss the opportunity to be at interview night. So given that, you may decide that it's best to miss a class than to miss maybe that opportunity to be involved in what's going on in the school. So we'll just reiterate, you must have a criminal record check before you go to the school. You will be denied access, not by us, but by the school board. The MTRR blog, how many of you have logged on to the MTRR blog? Nobody? One. Well, it is a wealth of information. All TC should be looking at and reading all the resources that are there. I'm going to take you through it afterwards, because there you will access your criminal record information, all the health and safety forms that you need. So it's all there. You don't have to phone or ask, or I can't find it. I'll show you how to get it, because these are all forms that you must have with you when you come to your advising, to your first practicum meeting with your facilitator. Again, so we can't iterate enough. The police record check, are all of you on EDU webmail? Your new practicum facilitator will be contacting you prior to September on that email. So, because they will probably advise you, this is when we're meeting, this is what you need to bring with you. So look for information on your EDU webmail. When will you find out where you're placed? At the end of April. Not April, at the end of August, you can go on to PIMS, and you will see the school that you're placed in. You'll see your practicum facilitator, and in most cases you might find your mentor teacher. If not, that's not the issue. A lot of mentor teachers are assigned to students when all the students go to the class that first day. If you see that it says confirmation pending, that means we haven't forgotten you. Your name is at the school and they haven't sorted out what the teaching schedules are yet, so they can't confirm or deny the placement, but in most cases that school will confirm in late August or early September. So pending confirmation does not mean you do not have a placement. The mandatory orientation will take place the week of September after Labor Day. It'll probably be the Tuesday or the Wednesday. That date hasn't been confirmed. It will be. And you will see all the details posted on the MTRR blog under News. So it'll give you the time and date, the agenda, where you meet in the afternoon and in the morning. So look for that and make sure that you log on. If it's not posted the last week in August, for sure the first week of September. So the morning sessions will be, in your case you'll probably have the OCT and you'll be applying to the OCT this year, and there'll be federations. The afternoon sessions are your practicum meetings. You do not go to your school until you meet with your practicum facilitator. They prepare you with all the details. So that afternoon session is very important. I'm going to just click onto the MTRR blog, having seen that most of you haven't even looked at it. So this is the mentoring and resource room. It's all your mentor teachers go on and get all their information here, as you should, okay? The news, this is where you would click to see your orientation schedule and agenda. So check that the last couple of weeks in August and see what is posted. Any updates to information are always posted on the most recent news. Practicum Resources is where you would go most likely. So to be prepared for orientation, the health and safety information is on there. You all did the e-learning video for safety. You're required to do it again. There's the direct link. Then there's the WSIP form that you need to download for yourself, and the health and safety checklist, which you have to print out and bring with you at your first meeting with your practicum facilitator. And to check your criminal record check information, here it'll give you the specific board requirements. Anybody that's placed in a TDSB, the same rule applies. You must show your original VSS to Fairmeadow, and all the information is there. Anybody that's been placed in Peel, the same rules apply as well, but you can check the information online. Has anybody here been placed in Peel before? So you know that you have to still forfeit your original. And then there's I would just suggest that if you have any time throughout the summer, that you should really go through and read all the mentoring resources in the MTRR blog. So this is giving you specific links. The MTRR blog under mentoring, you can see the resources for the teacher candidate. Then there's the responsibilities of the teacher candidate related to your Ed 3, not your Ed 2. So now you're getting your Ed 3 information. And it has the practicum evaluation protocol. I would suggest that you log into these links and read up on. You'll just be a little bit more prepared and more aware of what is expected of you in Ed 3. Your login links are easily found on your EDU webpage at the bottom. You can log into your webmail, your SharePoint, and your PIMS. We call the Practicum login PIMS, which stands for Practicum Information Management System. And if there's any questions and concerns, if you can't log into PIMS, you can contact the Practicum office, 108 Winters, or by phone, or the general Practicum office at edu.yorku email. So that's basically it, and I'm just going to close by saying the most important thing you now have to do is request your practicum placement. The window will close for you at the end of the month. So if there's no questions, I'm done. On to the next person.